All that stuff that only exists in legend. Talking tigers, spaceships. Years away on Earth. It's all gone. Take the sword. That's your chance. I'm gonna fight for it. Bro, I need every man, woman. You may have to... Scared to use it? Where I come from is real. Why did you send
You to a place I knew that they'd never find you.
Don't worry, the sword's mine.
It's about to get weird.
What am I supposed to do? You protect them.
Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am talking about Masters of the Universe. If you like fantasy, action and big adventure movie, then this movie is made for you. The story starts with Prince Adam, who is living on Earth without knowing his real past. He does not know that he is the true hero of a magical world called Eternia. One day, everything changes when the famous sword of power comes back into his life. This sword is not just a normal weapon, it is the key to his real destiny. After getting the sword, Prince Adam learns that his own world is in great danger. The evil escalator has taken control of Eternia, and now only one person can stop him. That person is He-Man. From the very beginning, the movie gives a big fantasy feeling with beautiful locations, amazing action scene, and a world that looks very different from Earth. If you have never watched any He-Man movie before, don't worry, because this film explains everything in a simple way and slowly takes you into the magical world. Overall, the opening is exciting and makes you curious to know what will happen next. Now let's talk about the main journey. After Prince Adam understands who he really is, his life changes forever. He is not just a normal young man anymore. He is the only person who can protect Eternia from complete destruction. But becoming a hero is not easy. A hero is not made only by having great power. A hero also needs courage, trust, and a strong heart. This is what the movie shows very well. At first, Prince Adam is confused. He asks himself many questions. Why me? Can I really save a entire world? If what if I fail? These questions make his character feel real, because almost every person feels fear before doing something big. When Prince Adam finally holds the sword of power in his mind, the movie creates one of the biggest moments. The background music becomes louder and the camera slowly moves around him, and you can feel that something incredible is about to happen. Then he speaks the famous words and transforms into He-Man. This transformation scene is powerful emotion and full of energy. His body becomes stronger, his armor looks amazing, and his confidence completely changes. The movie show that real strength is not only about muscles, it is about believing in yourself when everyone else is losing hope. On the other side, we have Skeletor, the biggest enemy in the story. He is not shown as a simple villain. The movie gives him a dangerous personality. Every time he appears on the screen, you can feel tension. He wants unlimited power and complete control over Eternia. He believes that fear is stronger than hope. Any army follow every order without asking any questions. His dark castle, his scary look, and his cold voice make him one of the most memorable parts of the movie. Even when he just talking, you feel that something bad is going to happen. The movie also introduced many important friends who stand beside He-Man. They know that the fight against Skeletor is not a one-man battle. Every member of the team has a different skill. Some are great fighters, some are smart planners, and some never lose hope even in the hardest situations. This teamwork makes the story more interesting because nobody wins every battle alone. Everyone has an important role. Another good thing is how the movie show the world of Eternia. Every palace looks different. Some areas are full of green forest, some have hug mountains, while others look dark. Because of Skeletor's power, the movie spends enough time showing these palaces so the audience feels that Eternia is a real world with its own history and culture. Instead of rushing from one fight to another, the story allows us to explore his magical kingdom little by little. The action scenes are also enjoyable. The fights are not only about hitting each other. Every battle has a purpose. Sometimes He-Man has to protect innocent people. Sometimes he has to stop powerful monsters. Sometimes he has to make difficult decisions during the fight. Because of this, the action never feels boring. Every fight pushes the story forward and teaches the hero something new. The movie also focuses on friendship. Prince Adam slowly learns that trusting other is not just as important as being a story. There are important moments when he wants to solve every problem alone, but his friend remind him that even the greatest hero needs support. These emotional scenes are simple but effective. They make the audience care about the characters instead of only waiting for the next action scene. One thing that makes the movie different is its balance. It has action, fantasy, adventure, funny moments, emotional conversations, and mystery. Because of this makes the movie rarely feels slow. Even when there is no fight, something interesting is happening. Either the story is moving forward, a new secret is revealed, or a character learns an important lesson. By the end of this part of the story, it becomes clear that He-Man is becoming more than just a powerful warrior. He is becoming the symbol of hope for Atrina. People start believing that maybe the darkness can finally be defeated, but at the same time, Skeletor is preparing a even bigger plan, making it clear that the real battle is still waiting ahead. The movie builds excitement very well and leaves the audience steady for the next chapter of this epic adventure. As the story moves forward, the movie becomes much bigger than just a fight between good and evil. Now He-Man understands that every decision he makes can change the future of Athena. The people are looking at him with hope, but inside Prince Adam he is still learning how to become a true king and a true hero. This is one of the strongest parts of the movie because it does not show a hero who is perfect from the beginning. Instead, it shows a person who makes mistakes, learns from them, and slowly becomes stronger with every challenge. One scene after another keeps building the adventure. Every time He-Man reaches a new palace, he discovers another secret about Eternia, old buildings and ancient temples, mysterious caves, and forgotten battlefields all make the world feel alive. The movie spends time showing these locations so the audience can enjoy the fantasy atmosphere instead of rushing through everything. Every place has its own story and every location feels important. At the same time, Skeletor is also moving forward with his own plan. He is not sitting and waiting for the hero to arrive. He keeps expanding his soldiers to capture powerful palace across Eternia. His goal is simple but very dangerous. He wants complete control over every corner of the kingdom. The movie shows that Skeletor believes fear is the easiest way to rule people. Whenever his army goes, people lose hope, villages become empty, and everyone starts wondering if anyone can really stop him. The movie creates a nice balance between action and story. Instead of showing fight after fight without meaning, every battle changes something. Sometimes He-Man wins but still loses an important chance. Sometimes he saves people but realizes the enemy is becoming stronger somewhere else. These moments keep the audience interested because the story never feels too simple. Another thing that stands out is the relationship between Prince Adam and the people who trust him. They remind him that wearing powerful armor is not enough. A real leader listens to others, protect protect the weak and accepts responsibility. There are several emotional conversations where Prince Adam doubts himself, but his friends remind him that courage does not mean having no fear. Courage means moving forward even when you are afraid. The visual style of the movie is also one of the biggest strengths. Bright shakes, giant castles, magical forest, and hug mountain make Athena look beautiful. During peaceful moments, the movie feels colorful and full of life, but whenever Skeletor appears, everything becomes darker. The lighting changes, the background music because becomes heavy, and the atmosphere immediately feels dangerous. This difference helps the audience understand the mood without anyone even speaking. The action scenes are filmed in a way that is easy to follow. The camera does not move too fast, so you can clearly see every short attack, every jump, and every powerful move. He-Man fights with confidence, but the movie also showed that even he cannot solve every problem with strength alone. Sometimes he has to think before attacking, sometimes protecting innocent people becomes more important than defeating the enemy. This small choice makes his character feel more human. The background music deserves special attention. During quiet moments, the music stays sharp and emotional. During battles, it becomes loud and energetic. When He-Man enters the battlefield, the music makes the moment feel much bigger. It creates excitement and makes every important scene more memorable. The movie also gives enough time to its supporting characters instead of standing behind the hero without any purpose. They each have their own personalities, opinion, and important moments. Sometimes they disagree with Prince Adam, sometimes they help him see a better solution. Because of this, the theme feels natural and their friendship becomes one of the emotional parts of the story. One interesting idea in the movie is that power always comes with responsibility. Prince Adam slowly realized that a sword of power is not just a magical weapon, it is also a symbol of trust. The people believe that whoever holds this sword must protect the kingdom before thinking about themselves. This lesson becomes more important as the story continues. As the danger grow, the battles also become bigger. Escalators start using strong warriors and more dangerous creatures. Every victory becomes harder to achieve. Even after winning a fight, the heroes know that the final battle is getting closer. This creates suspense because the audience know the biggest challenge has not arrived yet. The movie also includes a few light and funny moments between serious scenes. These moments never feel forced. They simply give the audience a chance to smile before the next intense sequence begins. This balance keeps the movie entertaining from start to finish. By this point, the story feels like a true fantasy adventure. The world is larger, the stakes are higher, the hero is stronger than before, and the villain is becoming even more dangerous. Every scene pushes the story forward and keeps building toward a massive final showdown. The audience is left feeling that the fate of Athena will soon be decided and that the biggest test of human is still waiting just ahead. Now, if we talk about the movie for a bigger view, This is not only a fantasy action film, it is also a story about growing up, accepting your destiny, and learning what it really means to become a hero. At the beginning, Prince Adam is living a normal life without understanding why strange things keep happening around him. But as the story moves forward, he slowly realizes that some people are born with great responsibility. The movie shows this journey in a simple way, show even people who have never watched He-Man before can easily understand the story. One of the best things is how the movie builds its world. Eternia does not feel like a small kingdom, it feels like a huge universe with many different palaces, different people, and a long history. Every time He-Man travels to a new location, the audience gets to see something fresh. One palace may have giant mountain touching the clouds. Another may have magical forest filled with ancient secrets, while other area looks completely destroyed because of escalator attack. Because of this, the movie never feels repetitive. Every new location adds something special to the adventure. The movie also spends the time explaining why Skeletor is much a danger enemy. He is not only powerful because of magic, he is danger because he knows how to control people using fear. Instead of giving hope, he spreads fear anywhere. His soldiers follow him without asking questions, and many innocent people are forced to leave their home. Every time Escalator has become more serious, there are many scenes where Prince Adam starts questioning himself. Even after becoming human, he understands that having great power does not automatically make someone a great leader. A leader has to earn people trust. This message is shown again and again throughout the movie. Sometimes he succeeds and sometimes he fails, but every mistake teaches him something new. This makes his character development feel natural instead of rushed. Another strong point is the emotional side of the story. There are several quiet moments where the characters simply sit together and talk about their fears, dreams, and hopes. These conversations are not boring because they help us understand who these characters really are. Instead of only showing action scene, the movie gives enough time for emotion to grow. Because of this, when a dangerous battle finally happens, the audience actually care about what happened to the heroes. The action scene become bigger as the movie continues. At first, the fights are between small groups, but later they grow into massive battles where the future of Athenia depends on every decision. He-Man uses both his strength and his intelligence. He does not simply attack every enemy, sometimes he protects people first. Sometimes he creates a plan with his team, and sometimes he sacrifices his own safety to save others. These moments make him feel real. feel like a complete hero instead of just a powerful fighter. The visual effect also play a big role in making the movie enjoyable. The magical power shine brightly, the battles look grand, and the fantastic creatures are designed with a lot of detail. The movie try to create a world with that feels magical but still believable. Instead, its own universe. Even the costumes of women or skeleton are designed to match their personalities. He-Man looks bright, confident, and hopeful, while a skeleton looks dark, cold, and frightening. The background music continues to make every important moment stronger. During emotional scene, the music stays calm and soft. During battles, it becomes powerful and exciting. Sometimes the movie does not even need many dialogues because the music itself tells the audience how to feel. This is one of the reasons why several scenes leave a strong impact. One thing that many viewers may enjoy is that the movie respects the old He-Man story while also trying to introduce it to a new generation. Old fans can notice many familiar ideas, while new viewers can still enjoy the movie without feeling lost. This balance is important because reboot movies sometimes become too focused on old fans, but this movie tried to be welcome everyone. The movie also reminds us that the biggest battles are often inside our own minds. Prince Adam is not only fighting Skeletor, he is also fighting his own fear, his own doubts, and the pressure of becoming the protector of an entire world. Every time he overcomes one fear, he becomes a better version of himself. His message makes the story feel more meaningful. As the story reaches its later chapter, the danger becomes greater than even before. Escalator is now closer to achieving his goal, and every hero understands that one wrong move could change everything forever. The kingdom prepares for its biggest battle. People gather together with hope in their hearts, and everyone waits for the moment when He-Man will once again stand against darkness. By the end of this part of the movie, the excitement reaches another level. Every scene feels important, every conversation gives a new clue, and every battle brings the story closer to its final destination. The audience feels that something hug is about to happen, and that the final fight between He-Man and Skeletor could decide not only the future of Eternia, but also the future of everyone living inside this magical world. Now the movie enters its biggest stage where every character understands that there is no way to escape the coming war. The peaceful day of Eternia are almost over, and everyone know that the next battle will decide the future of kingdom. The movie slowly increases the tension instead of rushing directly into action. This makes every scene feel important because the audience know something is about to happen. At this point, Prince Adam is very different from the person we saw at the beginning of the movie. Earlier, he was confused about his future, but now he has accepted that protecting Eternia is responsibility. Even though he has become human, he still remains kind and humble. The movie never show him as someone who thinks he can't lose. Instead, it reminds the audience that even the strongest hero can feel fear before a important battle. Before the final war begins, there are many emotional moments between the heroes. They know that not everyone may return after the battle. Some characters quietly look at the kingdom they are trying to protect. Others remember their families and friends. Nobody speaks too much, but their faces clearly show what they are feeling. These silent moments become just as powerful as the action scene because they make the audience feel connected to the character. On the other side, Skeletor becomes even more dangerous. His confidence grows because he believes that victory is finally close. His army spreads across Eternia, and darkness slowly covers palaces that were once full of life. The movie shows that evil does not always arrive suddenly. Sometimes it grows little by little until people realize how much they have already lost. This idea is presented in a simple but effective way. As the battle begins, the movie becomes much bigger in scale. Hugged armies stand face to face. The sky is filled with smoke. Magic lights shine across the battlefield, and powerful warriors prepare for their weapons. The background music becomes louder, making every moment feel grand. The camera moves across the battlefield, showing that this is not just another fight, this is the mother moment everyone has been waiting for. He-Man leads the heroes with courage. Instead of charging forward without thinking, he first makes sure that innocent people are safe. These small details show the difference between a true hero and someone who only wants to win. For He-Man, protecting people is more important than becoming famous. The fight scenes are filled with energy, but they are easy to understand. Every attack has a purpose, and every victory comes after hard work. The movie avoids making the hero look unbeatable. He-Man faces powerful enemies who force him to use both his strength and his intelligence. Some fights are won with power, while others are won because of smart decisions. The movie also gives important moment to the supporting characters. They are not stand in the background waiting for He-Man to save everyone. Each one helps in a different way. Some protect the people, some fight against dangerous enemies, and some risk their own lives to complete important mission. This teamwork makes the story strong because it shows that one hero alone cannot protect an entire kingdom. As the war continues, Skeletor and He-Man move closer to their final confrontation. Every time they appear on screen together, the atmosphere changes completely. Their conversations are short but meaningful. Escalator believes that power is everything, while He-Man believes that hope, friendship, and courage are stronger than fear. This difference between their ideas becomes one of the main theme of the movie. The visual effect become even more impressive during this scene. Bright magical energy, powerful sword attacks, and the dark magic of escalator create exciting moment without making the scene feel too crowded. The movie tries to keep the action clear so that the audience can enjoy every second. Another thing that deserves praise is the pacing. Even during the biggest battle, the movie sometimes slow down for a few minutes to show how the characters are feeling. These small pauses stop the action for becoming repetitive. They also remind the audience that this war is not only about defeating a enemy, it is about protecting families, friends, and a entire world. By the end of this season section, the movie reaches its highest level of excitement. The audience know that the final showdown between He-Man and Skeletor is only moments away. Every scene increases the suspense and the story makes you want to keep watching without taking a break. The family successfully builds the feeling that the fate of Eternia is hanging by a single thread, and only one final battle can decide whether light or darkness will rule this magical universe. And now the movie reaches the moment that almost every viewer has waiting for. The final chapter begins with complete silence before to storm. The battlefield looks damaged. The sky is covered with dark clouds, and both sides know that there is no second chance anymore. Every hero is tired after fighting for so long, but nobody is ready to give up. This creates a powerful atmosphere where every second feels important. In the middle of all this destruction, He-Man walks forward with the sword of power in his hand. His armor is damaged after many battles, but his confidence is stronger than ever. The movie shows that real heroes are not the ones who never get hurt. Real heroes are the ones who continue fighting even after failing many times. At the same time, Escalator finally steps forward to face He-Man. This is the moment the entire story has been building toward. The movie does not rush into the fight. Instead, it gives both characters time to speak. The Skeletor believes that power is not the only thing that matters. He laughs at the hope and says that people only follow whoever is strong, but He-Man answer with complete confidence. They say that strength without kindness means nothing, and fear can never defeat people who stand together. This conversation is simple but meaningful. It reminds the audience that the movie is not only about sword and magic, it is also about different way of thinking. Escalator wants people to obey because they are afraid. He-Man wants people to stand together because they trust each other. This difference makes their final battle much more interesting. Then the fight finally begins. The sword of power shines brightly as He-Man attacks. Skeletor answers with powerful dark magic. Every attack creates hug energy across the battlefield. The camera keeps moving smoothly, allowing the audience to enjoy every moment without getting confused. The action feels big, but it also remains easy to follow. The movie makes sure that both characters look very powerful. He-Man does not win every attack, and Skeletor is not defeated easily. They continue pushing each other harder with every passing minute. Sometimes Seaman is forced backward, sometimes Skeletor loses control for a moment. This balance keeps the fight exciting because nobody knows who will win. While the two main characters are fighting, the rest of the heroes continue protecting Eternia. Instead of standing and watching, they keep fighting against Skeletor army. Every small victory helps He-Man move on a step closer to stopping the darkness. The movie reminds us that every person matters, no matter how big or small their role is. The background music becomes one of the strongest parts of this sequence. It starts quietly, then slowly becomes louder as the battle grows more intense. Every time He-Man stands back up after after being knocked down, the music becomes more powerful, making the audience feel inspired. At the same time, whenever Skeletor uses his dark powers, the music changes into something much heavier, creating a feeling of danger. The visual effects during this battle are impressive. Bright magical light crashes against dark energy, creating beautiful scene across the screen. The movie avoids making everything too colorful or confusing. Instead, every effect has a purpose and helps increase the excitement. Another thing that works well is the emotion side of the final battle. Prince Adam remembers everything he has learned during his journey. He remembers his friends, the people who believed in him, and the promise he made to protect Eternia. These memories do not make him stronger physically, but they give him the courage to keep moving forward when everything seems impossible. As the fight reaches its highest point, the audience feels that either light or darkness will win forever. The movie creates suspense by showing that both heroes have reached their limits. Every attack now feels more dangerous than the last one. Every decision can change the future of Eternia world forever without revealing every final detail. The ending tries to leave the audience with a feeling of hope. It reminds us that true power does not come from magic alone, it comes from courage, friendship, sacrifice, and believing in what is right even when the entire world seems to be against you. Overall, if this movie delivers everything shown in its trailers and promotional material, it has the potential to become one of the biggest fantasy adventure movie for both old human fans and a completely new generation of viewers. It makes action, emotion, adventure, and fantasy in a way that can entertain a wide audience while also repeating the legacy of his classic hero show. Now let's talk about what makes this movie feel different from many other fantasy movies. One thing that I really like is that Masters of the Universe 2026 does not depend only on action. Yes, the action scenes are big, the fights are exciting, and the visual effects look impressive, but the movie also spent a lot of time making the audience care about the characters. Without emotional connection, even the biggest action scene can feel empathy, and this movie understands that very well. The journey of Prince Adam is the heart of the entire story. At the beginning, he is just trying to understand who he really is. He does not know why people expect so much for him, and he is not sure if he is ready to carry such a heavy responsibility. As the story moves forward, we slowly see him changing. Every challenge teaches him something new. Every mistake helps him before wiser. Every battle makes him mentally stronger. By the time he fully accepts the role of human, the audience feels that he has truly earned that title. One of the most interesting things is how the movie presents the idea of power. Usually, many action movies show that the strongest person always wins, but here the movie keeps reminding us that power without kindness can become dangerous. Escalator has incredible magical abilities, but he uses them only to control others. He-Man also has great power, but he uses it only to protect people. This simple difference spared the hero from the villain and gives the story a deeper meaning. The movie also creates a feeling that Eternia is not just a background of the story. It feels like a living world. Every village, every mountain, every forest, every castle, and Every ancient building has its own importance. Even when there are no action scenes, the camera spends time showing the beauty of the nature. These moments allow the audience to enjoy the fantasy atmosphere and make the adventure feel much larger. The cinematography deserves appreciation. Many wide shots show the massive castles, giant landscapes, and magical location in a beautiful way. During emotional scene, the camera comes closer to the character so we can clearly see their expression. During battles. The camera becomes more active but never too fast. Because of this, every action sequence remains easy to understand. The costume design is another highlight. He-Man looks exactly like the powerful hero people accept. His armor, the sword of power, and his overall appearance make him look like a true protector of Eternia. On the other hand, Skeletor has a dark and frightening design that perfectly matches his personality. The movie clearly spreads light and darkness through the look of its characters. Another positive point is the background music. Many scenes become much more emotional because of the music playing behind them. During peaceful conversations, the music stays soft and calm. During dangerous moments, it becomes louder and creates suspense. During the biggest battles, it gives the audience goosebumps by making every attack feel larger than life. The dialogues are mostly simple, which is a good decision. Instead of using every compli- complicated words, the movie allows the character to speak in a way that feels natural. This helps viewers understand the emotions without needing long explanations. Even when He-Man gives an inspiring speech, the words remains easy to follow. Leave a strong impact. The pacing also remains balanced for most of the movie. Whenever the action becomes very intense, the story slow down for a few minutes to give emotional breathing space. Then, just when the audience starts reflecting, another exciting moment arrives. This balance keeps the movie entertaining from beginning to end without feeling too fast or too slow. If we talk about the emotional side, the movie reminds us that every hero has moments of weakness. Prince Adam is not fearless all the time. He feels pressure, he makes mistakes, and sometimes even questions himself, but instead of running away, he chooses to stand up again. This message is simple but inspiring because it tells us that courage is not about never being afraid. Courage means moving forward despite fear. The friendship between the heroes is another reason why many scenes work so well. They support each other during difficult times. They argue when necessary and they celebrate every small victory together. These relationships make the audience emotionally connected to the theme instead of crying only about human. The movie also leaves room for future adventure without giving away too much. It feels like the world of Eternia still has army mysteries waiting to be explored, and this movie is very cute because it shows the adventure. It is not a movie, it a very biggest action of the movies that makes the ending feel exciting instead of completing closing the story. Show overall masters of universe try to deliver much more than a simple fantasy action film. It aims to tell the story of hope, courage, friendship, sacrifice, and becoming the best version of yourself. In the final movie matches the expectations created by its trailer and promotional material, then it has every chance to become a memorable adventure for both long-time fans and people who are entertaining the world of He-Man for the very first time. And finally, when the movie comes close to its ending, it tries to leave the ad- audience with a feeling that his adventure is much bigger than just one battle. Throughout the story, Prince Adam changes from a young man who is confused about his future into human, a hero who is ready to stand in front of danger without taking about himself. This complete journey is what gives the movie its emotional value. The action is exciting, the fantasy world is beautiful, but the real strength of the movie comes from the growth of its main character. One thing that stands out is how the movie keeps repeating one simple message in different way. A person is not remembered because of how much power he has. A person is remembered because of how he uses that power. He may never fights to become famous or to prove that he is stronger than everyone else. He fights because people need someone to protect them. This makes him feel like a true hero instead of just another action character. The movie also shows the very victory has a price. No great battle is won without sacrifice. Every hero has to leave behind something important. Some leave behind their peaceful life, some risk their future, and some choose duty before personal happiness. This emotional moment make the story feel more realistic inside its fantasy world. The relationship between He-Man and Skeletor is also one of the strongest parts of the movie. They are complete opposites. One believes that fear gives people control, while the other believe that hope gives people strength. Their conflict is not only physical but also emotional and mental. Every time they meet, it feels like two completely different ideas are fighting against each other. Because of this, their scene become much more interesting than ordinary hero versus villain moments. The movie also deserves praise for not forgetting the small character. Even people who appear who for only a short time help make Antonia feel alive. Villagers, soldiers, guards, or ordinary people all react to what is happening around them. This makes the kingdom feel real, intense of um, intense of fighting. He-Man is fighting for an entire civilization, not for a few important characters. If we talk about the technical side, the movie appears to have long production quality. The costumes, the weapons, the magical power, and the giant and the fantasy creatures all work together to create a believable world. Every frame tries to look grand without becoming too confusing. Even during the biggest action scene, it is easy to understand what is happening on the screen. The editing also seems balanced. First scene move quickly to create excitement with while emotional scenes are given enough time so the audience can connect with the characters. This balance helps the movie avoid feeling rushed. Instead, every important moment gets the attention it deserves. Another thing I like is that the movie never forget its emotional side. Between the sword fights, magical battles, and hug action sequence, there are many quiet scenes where the characters simply talk to each other. These conversations remind us why they are fighting in the first place. Without these moments, the movie would only be action, but because of them, the story feels complete. The message of the movie is simple but powerful. Real heroes are not people who never fail. Real heroes are people who keep standing up after every failure. Prince Adam makes mistakes, lost battles, and faces fear many times, but he never stops trying. That is what makes him worthy of becoming human. For old fans of He-Man, this movie has the chance to bring back many memories while presenting the character in a fresh way. For new viewers, it can become a exciting first step into the world of Eternia. The movie tried to satisfy both groups by respecting the original story while also making it easy for newcomers to understand everything. It, if someone asks me whether this movie is about only fantasy and action, I would say no. It is also about friendship, trust, courage, leadership, hope, and responsibility. These ideas stay with the audience even after the action scene are over. So overall, based on everything officially revealed so far, Mysteries of the Universe look like a movie that wants to bring one of the most famous fantasy heroes back to being seen in a modern style. It promises large scale adventure, emotional storytelling, exciting action, beautiful visuals, and a unforgettable journey. through the magical world of Eternia. If the final battle releases delivers on whole promises, then this movie could become one of the most talked about fantasy film of its year and a strong beginning of a brand new human universe. The one interesting thing about Master of the Universe is that this movie is bringing back one of most famous fantasy heroes after many years. The character He-Man has been loved by fans for a long time because he is not only a powerful warrior but also a symbol of courage and hope. The movie is trying to introduce this legendary hero to a new generation while also respecting the older fan who grew up watching him. That is not a easy job because both old and new audience have different expectations. If the filmmakers can balance both sides, then the movie can become a successful fantasy adventure. The world of Eternia is filled with magic, powerful weapons, ancient secrets, and unforgettable characters. This gives the movie a chance to create many exciting scenes that are much bigger than a normal action film because this is planned as a modern version of the classic story. Many viewers are excited to see how Prince Adam transforms into He-Man using the famous sword of power. Fans are also waiting to see how dangerous Skeletor will look on the big screen because he is considered one of the most iconic villains in fantasy history. Even before its release, the movie has created a lot of discussion among fans, and many people are hoping that it could become the beginning of a bigger fantasy universe with more movies in the future. Another interesting thing about Masters of Universe 2026 is the story behind this movie. Many people may not know that Hollywood has been trying to bring He-Man back to the big screen for many years. Different studios, different directors, and different writers worked on the project at different times, but for one reason or another, the movie was delayed again and again. Because of this long journey, fans waited for years to finally see a new live action version of He-Man. That long wait has made the excitement much bigger than a normal movie release. The world of Eternia is one of the biggest reasons why people love this franchise. Unlike many fantasy worlds that focus on only magical or only science, Eternia mix both together in one palace. You can see ancient castles, magical swords, and mysterious temples. In another palace, you can find advanced technology, giant machines, and powerful weapons. This combination gives the movie a unique identity. It does not look exactly like other fantasy movies because it has its own style. The most famous part of the story is the transformation of Prince Adam into He-Man. This moment has always been special for fans. When Prince Adam rises the sword of power and seeks the famous line, he changes into the strongest defender of Eternia. That scene is expected to become one of the biggest highlights of the movie because it represents much more than physical strength. It represents accepting responsibility, believing in yourself, and protecting people who can't protect themselves. Another reason people are excited in Escalator is not a villain who only wants to destroy everything without origin. His biggest goal is to control Eternia and become the most powerful ruler. His appearance alone makes him unforgettable. The blue body, the skull shaped face, and the dark armor have made Skeletor one of the most recognizable villains in fantasy entertainment. Fans are very curious to see how this classic character has been recreated for modern audience. The movie is also expected to include many famous locations from Eternia. Fans hope to see giant castles, magical forests, hidden caves, ancient battlefields, and mysterious kingdoms. These palaces are not just beautiful backgrounds. Every location has its own importance in the story and helps make the world feel alive. A fantasy movie becomes much more enjoyable when the world itself feels like another character, and Eternia has always had that quality. One thing that separates He-Man from many other superheroes is his personality. He does not fight because he enjoys battle. He fights because he wants to protect innocent people. Even after becoming one of the strongest heroes, Prince Adam never forgets kindness, honesty, and friendship. This is one of the biggest reasons why the character has remained popular for so many years. The movie is also important because it introduces younger audience to a classic hero. Many older viewers already know He-Man from cartoon, comic, and toys, but many young people are seeing him for the first time. The that means the movie has two jobs. It must satisfy long-time fans while also making the story simple enough for new viewers. If it succeeds, it could create a completely new fan base for the franchise. Another exciting possibility is that this movie could become the beginning of a larger cinematic universe. If audiences enjoy this film, future movies could introduce more heroes, more villains, and explore different parts of Eternia. The world is already large enough to support many adventures, so there is plenty plenty of room for future stories. The background music is also expected to play an important role. Fantasy movie become more memorable when the music matches the emotional on the screen. During peaceful scene, soft music helps the audience connected with the characters. During battles, powerful music increase the excitement. A great soundtrack can make even a simple scene feel unforgettable. Customs design in another area where fans have high expectations. He-Man has one of the most famous looks in fantasy history, so changing it too much cloud disappointed old fans. At the same time, the design also needs to look realistic for a modern live action movie. Finding the perfect balance between the classic design and a modern style is one of the biggest challenges for the filmmakers. Finally, one of the biggest reasons people are waiting for Masters of the Universe 2026 is simple. Fantasy movies have become very popular around the world, but every fantasy world needs a hero who feels truly inspiring. He-Man has always represented courage, hope, friendship, and the idea that true strength comes from helping others instead of controlling them. If the movie successfully captures these qualities, then it could become much more than just another action film. It could become a memorable adventure that introduces a legendary hero to a whole new generation while reminding older fans why they feel in love with the world of Ant- Antonia in the first palace. Another interesting topic to talk about is the legacy of He-Man and why this character is still important after so many years. Not every hero stay popular for decades, but He-Man is one of those rare characters who has connected to attract fans from different generations. Some people know him from cartoons, some from comic books, some from action figure, and now a completely new audience will know him through this movie. That is why Masters of Universe 2026 is not just another movie released reaches for many fans. It is the return of a childhood hero. One of the biggest reasons behind the popularity of He-Man is that he represents hope instead of revenge. Many modern heroes are shown as dark, angry, and always looking for revenge. But He-Man is different. His first goal is always to protect innocent people. He believes that strength should never be used to scare others. Instead, strength should be used to help those who can't protect themselves. This simple idea has made the character loved by millions of fans around the world. When you watch a fantasy movie, the world itself is just as important as the characters. That is exactly where Athena becomes special. Atrium is not only filled with castles and forests, it is a world where magic and advanced technology exist together. In one scene, you may see a ancient temple built thousands of years ago, and in this next scene, you may see futuristic machines that look far ahead of their time. This unusual combination gives Antonia a unique identity that is different from most fantasy worlds. The movie also has the different job of balance Nos- nostalgia with modern filmmaking. Older fans were want to see the classic version of He-Man that they remember for their childhood. At the same time, younger viewers expect realistic visual effect, emotion storytelling, and high quality action scene. If the filmmakers can satisfy both groups, then the movie has a strong chance of becoming a huge success. Another reason people are excited is the possibility of seeing famous locations from Eternia in live action. Watching giant castles, magical forest, mysterious caves, hidden temples, and ancient battlefields on the big screen can make the fantasy world feel alive in a completely new way. Instead of imagining this palace while watching animation, audiences will be able to ex- experience them with realistic visuals. That alone makes the object exciting for long-time fans. The sword of power is another symbol that makes this franchise memorable. It is not simply a weapon used during battles, it represents responsibility, honor, and courage. Whenever Prince Adam holds the sword, he is accepting the duty of protecting a entire world. Because of this meaning, the sword becomes much more important than a ordinary fantasy weapon. Then comes Skeletor, who has always been one of the most famous fantasy villains. What makes him interesting is not only his appearance but also his personality. He is intelligent, patient, and always looking for another way to achieve power. He believes that fear is not the easiest way to rule people. This completely opposite philosophy makes his rivalry with He-Man much more meaningful. It is not only a fight between two powerful characters, it is a battle between hope and fear, kindness and curiosity, response responsibility and greed. Another thing that deserves attention is the production design. Creating the word for Eternia in live action is not a easy task. Every costume, every weapon, every castle, every creature, and every magical effect needs to look believable. If even one important design look weak, the fantasy world can lose its magic. That is why fans are paying close attention to every trailer, every official image, and every small detail released before the movie. The action sequences are also expected to be one of the biggest attraction because He-Man is known for incredible strength. People are expecting large-scale battles with giant giant enemies, magical powers, sword fights, and exciting adventure scenes. But action alone is never enough. The emotional connection between the audience and the hero is what makes those battles memorable. If viewers care about the characters, then every fight automatically becomes more exciting. One topic that many fans discuss is whether this movie can start a large franchise. Hollywood often builds connected movie universe, and the world of Eternia has enough character and stories to support several feature films. If this movie performs well, audience may get the chance to explore many more heroes, villains, kingdoms, and adventure from this universe. That possibility has created even more excitement before the release. The background music will also have a very important role. Fantasy movies become unforgettable when the soundtrack matches the emotions on a screen. During peaceful moment, soft music helps viewers connect with the characters. During danger scene, dramatic music creates suspense. During heroic moments, powerful orchestral music can make simple scene feel legendary. A great soundtrack often becomes just as memorable as the movie itself. Another interesting point is how the movie may introduce the story to viewers who know nothing about human. Good fantasy movies always explain their world naturally instead of confusing the audience with too much information at once. If Masters of the Universe 2026 successfully introduced Eternia, its history, heroes, and its villains in a simple way, then even first time viewers will be able to enjoy the adventure without feeling lost. Overall, Masters of the Universe cries hug expectations. It is bringing back on the biggest fantasy heroes in entertainment history while also trying to create something fresh for today's audience. It has the chance to deliver spectacular action, emotional storytelling, beautiful fantasy locations, memorable characters, and a world filled with adventure. If every part of the movie works together, its story, characters, music, action, visual effects, and emotional moments, then this could become more than just a successful movie. It could become the beginning of a brand new chapter for He-Man and the magical world of Eternia, giving both old fans and new audience a fantasy adventure that they will remember for many years. Now let me talk about another interesting part of Masters of the Universe 2026, and that is amount of work that goes into making a fantasy movie of this size. Movies like this are much more difficult to create than normal action films because Almost every scene needs a combination of real locations, sets, visual effects, costumes, computer graphic, and detailed planning. Every castle, every magical weapon, every fantasy creature, and every battle has to look believable. If even more simple part looks fake, the audience can lose interest very quickly. That is why fantasy movies usually take several years to complete. One of the biggest challenges for the filmmakers is making Eternia feel like a real palace instead of just a movie set. When the audience watches the film, they should feel that this kingdom has existed for thousands of years. Every wall song should look old. Every temple should have its own history, and every village should feel like people have actually lived there for generations. These small details may not always be noticed directly, but together they make the fantasy world much more believable. The costumes are also a very important part of the movie. Fans already know how human looks, so the filmmakers have to respect the classic design while also making it practical for live action scene. Now let me talk about one more interesting thing that many people do not think about. Every successful fantasy movie creates a world that feels much bigger than the story shown on the screen. That is exactly what fans accept from Masters of the Universe 2026. Even if the movie follows one man adventure, the world of A- A- Eternia should make the audience feel that many other stories are happening at the same time. Somewhere there may be another kingdom preparing for war. Somewhere an ancient secret may still be hidden, and somewhere a forgotten hero may still be waiting. When a fantasy movie creates this feeling, the audience naturally wants to return to that world again. Another exciting part of the movie is the balance between mystery and adventure. Good fantasy stories never reveal everything at once. Instead, they slowly answer one question while creating another. This keeps the audience curious from beginning to end. Every new location, every old temple, every magical object, and what secret will be discovered next. That feeling of curiosity is one of the biggest reason why fantasy movie remains enjoyable even after many years. The characters of Prince Adam is the main character. He also more interesting than many people first imagine. Before becoming He-Man, he has to understand what kind of person he wants to become. Anyone can receive great power, but not everyone know how to use it correctly. The movie is expected to show that becoming a hero is not a single moment. It is a long journey filled with difficult choices, painful region, lessons, and personal growth. Every challenge teaches Prince Adam something new, and every victory comes only after hard work and determination. Another thing that makes He-Man special is that he never fights only for himself. Every battle has a purpose. He wants to protect families, children, village, and future of Eternia. This gives emotional meaning to every action scene instead of fighting simply because the story needs action. Every battle becomes part of a much larger mission that makes the audience care about the outcome much more. The movie also has the opportunity to show how different parts of Eternia have their own culture. Some palaces may be peaceful and filled with beautiful nature, while others may be known for strong warriors or ancient knowledge. Showing this difference helps make the fantasy world feel alive instead of looking like one giant kingdom where everything is the same. Eternia can feel like a real world with different people, tradition, and histories. Another important part of fantasy movies is the feeling of danger. If the villain never feels powerful, then the audience never worries about the hero. That is why Skeletor is such an important character. His presence changes the atmosphere of every scene. Every before he speaks, the audience understands that something dangerous is about to happen. A memorable villain always increases the excitement because viewers know that defeating him will never be easy. The friendship shown in the movie is expected to become another emotional strength. Great heroes are rarely successful alone. They need loyal friends who believe in them during their weakest moment. There will likely be scene where Prince Adam begins to lose confidence, but the people standing beside him remind him where he must continue. These emotional moments often become just as memorable as the biggest battles. The movie may also include moments that remind viewers of classic adventure films, long journeys across dangerous land, discovering forgotten palaces, solving ancient mysteries, escaping impossible situations, and facing unexpected enemies are all things that make fantasy adventures exciting. Instead of staying in one location, the story has the chance of explore many different parts of Eternia, making very chapter feel fresh and different. Another reason why audiences are interested is because fantasy movies allow people to imagine things that are impossible in the real world. Giant castles reaching into the clouds, magical sword filled with incredible power, mysterious creatures, hidden kingdoms, ancient magic, and legendary heroes all create a sense of wonder. Watching these things on the big screen allow viewers to escape into another world for a few hours, and that is one of the greatest strength of the fantasy genre. The production team also has a hug responsibility. Every costume, every piece of armor, every magical effect, every creature, every weapon, and every location must work together perfectly. If all these elements are balanced well, then the audience can completely forget they are watching actors and instead believing they are truly visiting Atrena. That level of immersion is something very fantasy movie tries to achieve. One thing that many fans are hoping for is that the movies respect the original sprite of He-Man while still feeling modern. It is important for classic fans to recognize the hero they have loved for years, but it is equally important for new viewers to enjoy the story without needing any previous knowledge. Finding this balance is properly one of the biggest challenges for the filmmakers, and if they succeed, the movie could satisfy audience of every age. Finally, Masters of the Universe 2026 represent more than just another fantasy film. It represents the return of a legendary hero whose story has inspired fans for decades. The combination of action, adventure, mystery, friendship, courage, emotional storytelling, magical locations, and unforgettable character gives this movie enormous potential. If everything comes together successfully, then the journey of Prince Adam becoming He-Man could become one of the most enjoyable fantasy adventure for modern audiences, while also minding long-time fans why the world of Eternia has remained special for so many years. Now, let me talk about another important reason why people have been waiting for Masters of the Universe 2026 for such a long time. Every generation has at last one fantasy hero who becomes a part of childhood memories. For many people, that hero was He-Man. Long before today's superhero movies became popular, He-Man was already known around the world through cartoons, comics, games, and action figures. Because of that history, this movie carries a lot of expectations. It is not only trying to entertain today's audience, but it is also trying to respect the memories of fans who have followed this character of many years. Another interesting thing is how fantasy stories continue to stay popular even after decades. Technology changes, movies become bigger, and visual effects become more realistic, but people still enjoy stories about heroes, magical kingdoms, and adventures. That is because these stories are built around simple human emotion. Everyone understands friendship, courage, fear, hope, and sacrifice. Even if the world is filled with magic and impossible creatures, the emotions remain real. This is one of the biggest reasons why fantasy movie continue attracting audience of every age. The relationship between Prince Adam and the people of Eternia is another topic worth discussing. A true king is not someone who only sits on a throne. A true leader earns the trust of the people through his action. Throughout his journey, Prince Adam learns that leadership is not about giving orders. It is about listening, protecting, and standing beside people during difficult times. These relations slowly prepare him to become not only human but also a symbol of hope for the entire kingdom. One thing that always makes a fantasy movie memorable is its atmosphere. When viewers look at the screen, they should immediately feel that they have entered another world. The mountains should look ancient, the castles should look powerful, the forest should feel mysterious, and every location should have its own personality. Even without action, simply exploring this place can become enjoyable because the audience wants to discover what is hidden around the next corner. The movie is also expected to include many moments where intelligence becomes just as important as physical strength. Not every problem can be solved with a sword. Sometimes the heroes must solve mysteries, understand ancient symbols, or making difficult decisions under pressure. These moments create variety in the story and stop the movie for becoming only a series of fight scenes. Another reason why Skeletor has remained such a popular villain is because he challenges human in every possible way. He does not only attack with weapons or magic, he also tries to break the hero's confidence. A powerful villain understands that defeating someone's sprite is something sometimes more effective than defeating them in battle. Because of this, every meeting between He-Man and Skeletor becomes more than just another action scene. It becomes a battle between two completely different ideas about power and leadership. The supporting characters also play an important role in making the world feel complete. Every fantasy adventure becomes stronger when the hero is surrounded by people with different personalities and abilities. Some characters bring wisdom, some bring humor, and some bring bravery, and some bring emotional support. Together, they create a team that feels believable instead of making the heroes solve every problem alone. Another exciting possibility is the exploration of ancient history inside Athena. Fantasy worlds become much more interesting when they have stories about old kings, forgotten civilization, legendary battles, and mysterious artificial. These details make the audience believe that the world existed long before the movie began and will continue exciting after the story ends. This feeling gives the fantasy universe much greater depth. The movie could also inspire younger viewers to discover the original stories of human. Whenever a classic character returns with a modern movie, many people become curious about the older cartoons and comics. This creates a bridge between different generations. Older fans share their memories while younger viewers experience the characters for the first time. That connection between generations is something very few franchises are able to achieve. Another point worth mentioning is the importance of visual storytelling. A great fantasy movie does not always need long spaces. Sometimes one beautiful shot of a castle at sunrise, one lonely warrior stand on a mountain, or one magical sword shining in silence can tell the audience everything they need to know. Good filmmakers understand that powerful images often create a stronger emotions than long conversations. Finally, Masters of the Universe 2026 has the opportunity to remind audience why classic fantasy heroes are still loved today. Even in a world filled with modern superheroes, He-Man continues to represent simple but timeless values: kindness, courage, loyalty, honesty, friendship, and responsibility. These qualities never become old, no matter how much technology changes or how movies evolve. People will still connect with heroes who choose to perfect, protect others instead of seeing power of themselves. That is why the return of He-Man is important, and that is why so many fans are excited to once again visit the magical world of Eternia on the big screen. Now let me talk about another important aspect of Master of the Universe 2026, and that is how a fantasy movie creates an emotional connection with its audience. Big action scene may attract attention, but emotions are what make people remember a movie for years. If the audience starts crying about the journey of Prince Adam, then every challenge, every victory, and every difficult moment becomes much more meaningful. That is why characters' development is just as important as visual effects. A movie with amazing action but weak character is often forgotten, but a movie with strong emotions stay in people's memories for a long time. Another thing that makes the world of Eternia special is its feeling of endless adventure. The audience should never feel that they have already seen everything. Every new road can lead to another kingdom. Every mountain may had a ancient temple. Every forest may contain forgotten magic. Every cave may protect a powerful secret. This feeling of endless possibilities is one of the biggest reasons why fantasy stories remain exciting. The audience keeps wondering what amazing palace they will discover next. The movie also has the opportunity to show that becoming a hero is not about being born perfect. Prince Adam learns through experience. Every mistake becomes a lesson, every failure becomes another step towards success, and every difficult decisions helps him become wiser. This message is important because it reminds viewers that personal growth never happens overnight. Real heroes improve little by little, and that journey often becomes more interesting than the final victory itself. One thing that fans always accept from He-Man is a strong sin of justice. He does not fight because he enjoys battles. He fights because innocent people deserve peace. Even when facing dangerous enemies, he tries to protect others before thinking about himself. These qualities separates him from many other action heroes. His strength is impressive, but his kindness is what truly defines his character. Another interesting part of the franchise is how it combines classic fantasy with exciting adventure. Ancient castles stand beside advanced technology. Magical powers exist alongside powerful machines. Legendary creatures live in the same world as skilled warriors. This combination creates a unique atmosphere that is in- instantly recognizable. Very few fantasy worlds successfully mix these different ideas while still feeling natural. The role of a skeleton also deserves attention because every great story becomes stronger when the villain is believable. A memorable villain does not think he is evil, he believes his own action are correct. That is what makes Skeletor interesting. He is driven by the desire for complete control and unlimited power. His goals are different from human, and this difference creates the central conflict of the story. Without a strong villain, the hero's journey would never feel as challenging. The movie is also expected to include several moments where teamwork becomes more important than individual strength. Even the strongest hero can't protect an entire kingdom alone. Friends, allies, and loyal companies all have important roles to play. They support Prince Adam during difficult moments, offer advice when he feels uncertain, and stand beside him during dangerous battles. These relationships make the story feel warmer and more emotional. Another reason why people enjoy fantasy movies is the scene of imagination. Real life has limits, but fantasy worlds allow anything to become possible. Giant magical creature, mysterious kingdom, un- and enchanted weapons, hidden treasures, and ancient legends all create a feeling of wonder. Watching these things on a large screen allow viewer to forget everyday life for a while and enjoy a unforgettable adventure. The production quality will also play a major role in the movie's success. Every costume, every crystal, every magical effect, every weapon, and every landscape must look convincing. If all these elements work together smoothly, then the audience will fully believe in the world of Eternia. That level of immersion is what every fantasy movie try to achieve because it allows viewers to become completely involved in the story. Music is another powerful element that should not be ignored. A great soundtrack can completely change the feeling of a scene. A quiet emotional moment becomes even more touching with soft music. A heroic entrance becomes unforgettable with powerful or- orchestral music. A dangerous battle becomes more intense with dramatic background sound. Good music works silent in the background, but its effect stay with the audience long after the movie ends. One exciting possibility is that Masters of the Universe could encourage more fantasy movies based on classic characters. If audience enjoy this film, movie studios may become more interested in bringing other legendary fantasy heroes back to the big screen. In that way, this movie could have a bigger influence than people expected. Finally, the greatest strength of human has never been only his muscles or his magical sword. His greatest strength is heart. He believes that courage is stronger than fear, hope is stronger than darkness, and friendship is stronger than loneliness. These simple ideas have kept the character popular for decades, and they are the same reason why millions of fans continue to look forward to Masters of the Universe 2026. If the movie captures these timeless values while delivering exciting action, beautiful fantasy locations, emotion, storytelling, and memorable characters, then it has every chance to become a successful and unforgettable adventure for audience around the world. Now let me talk about another fascinating part of Master of the Universe 2026, and that is feeling of exploration. One of the biggest reason why people love fantasy movies is because they take the audience to places that can't exist in the real world. Every time Prince Adam begins a new journey, the audience feels as if they are traveling with him instead of seeing the same locations again and again. Fantasy adventure become exciting because every destination is different. One palace may be covered with beautiful green forest, another may be surrounded by giant mountains, while other may contain ancient ruins filled with mysterious symbols. This constant feeling of discovering something new keeps the adventure fresh from beginning to end. Another important thing about the movie is its scene of scale. A great fantasy film should always make the audience feel that the world is much larger than the story being shown, even if the camera follows him, and most of the time viewers should still believe that many other kingdom heroes and mysteries exist beyond the screen. That makes the universe feel alive instead of feeling limited to only a few locations. Whenever a new Whenever a movie creates that feeling, audience naturally begin imagine what other adventure could happen inside the same world. The story of Prince Adam is also inspiring because it reminds us that nobody comes a great leader overnight. Leadership is learned through experience. Every difficult choice teaches something new. Every challenge helps build confidence. Every mistake becomes an opportunity to improve. This journey for a ordinary young man to legendary protector He-Man is one of the biggest emotional strength of the entire franchise. The movie is also expected to show that courage is not the absence of fear. Instead, courage means continue to move forward even when fear is present. This Lesson has always been one of the strongest themes connected with human, no matter how powerful the enemy becomes, he continues fighting because giving up is never a option. This message is simple, but it connects with audience of every age because everyone faces difficult moment in real life. Another interesting aspect is how the movie may present ancient history. Fantasy worlds become much richer when they have stories that happened long before the main adventure begins. Ancient kings forgotten civilization, legendary wars, mysterious temples, and magical artif- artifacts all help create the feeling that Atrian Antonia has existed for thousands of years. This detail may not always be explained completely, but they make the world feel believable and full of hidden secrets waiting to be discovered. The relationship between human and skeleton is another reason why the story remains interesting. They are complete opposite in the way they think. Human believes that real strength comes from protecting others, while skeleton believes that fear is the fastest path to power because their ideas are so different. Every meeting between them becomes more meaningful than a simple fight. It becomes a battle of values where both characters are trying to prove that their way is correct. Another topic worth discussing is the importance of visual storytelling. A fantasy movie does not always need long speech to explain everything. Sometimes a single image can tell a complete story. A lonely castle standing on of a mountain, an old sword covered in dust, a forgotten temple hidden inside a forest, or a hero silently looking forward the horizon can all create powerful emotions without many words. These moments often become some of the most memorable scenes in fantasy cinema. The soundtrack is expected to become another important strength. Music has the ability to completely change the feeling of a scene. During peaceful moments, soft melodies create emotional connection. During danger scene, dramatic music increases suspense. During heroic victories, powerful orchestral themes make the audience feel inspired. Many classic fantasy movies are remembered for their music just as much as their stories, and fans hope this movie achieve the same result. Another exciting possibility is that the success of this movie could introduce a completely new generation to the world of Eternia. Many younger viewers have never watched the original cartoon or read the comics. For them, Masters of the University could become the first chapter of a much bigger adventure. If they enjoy this movie, they may become interested in exploring the older stories learning about others' heroes, and discovering the complete story of He-Man. The movie also has the opportunity to remind audience why fantasy remains one of the most loved genres in cinema. Fantasy allows people to dream about impossible worlds, magical powers, legendary heroes, and unforgettable adventures. It gives viewers a chance to escape everyday life and spend a few hours inside a universe where hope can overcome darkness and courage can change the future. That timeless message is one reason why fantasy stories never truly become old. Finally, I think one of the biggest reasons people are so excited for Masters of the Universe is not only because of its action or visual effect, it is because of what He-Man represents. He stands for bravery, honesty, friendship, responsibility, and hope. These values remains important in every generation, no matter how much technology change or how filmmaking evolves. Audience will always connect with heroes who use their power to protect others instead of controlling them. That is why the return of He-Man feels special, and that is why fans around the world are waiting to once again step into the magical world of Eternia and experience another unforgettable fantasy adventure. So guys, that's my review of Masters of the Universe 2026. I hope you enjoyed this review and got to know something new about the movie. If you liked this video, then please like, share and subscribe to the channel. It really supports me and motivates me to make more movie reviews and movie updates for you. Also, tell me your opinion in the comments. Are you excited to watch Masters of the Universe 2026? Which character are you most excited for, He-Man or Skeletor? Let me know in the comment section. Thank you a lot for watching. Take care, stay safe, and I will see you in next video. Bye everyone, goodbye.